They say artists are dreamers, that our heads float in the clouds, far from the noise of the real world. But my world was very noisy. Not in the way you might think. There were no cheering crowds or bustling streets, just the endless buzz of notifications and insults. Every time I posted a drawing online, something I poured hours into, I'd brace myself. She's so cringy. Another wannabe digital artist. Yawn. Mid. And yet, there was one comment that always felt different. Amid the sarcasm and snide remarks, a single voice stood out. At midnight sketch. Or maybe she's just expressing herself. You should try it sometime. I didn't know who he was. His profile had no picture, just a sketch of a cat with moon eyes. He never posted much, but every time I shared something, he'd be there defending me. I started to look for him, not just in the comments, but in the silence too. I didn't know his real name, where he lived, or even what his voice sounded like. But somehow he felt safe. That's how it all began, with a stranger in the comments. I didn't reply the first time. When at midnight sketch left that comment defending me, I just sat there staring at it. I kept reading it over and over again like it was written in a different language. Not because it was complicated, but because it was kind. And when you're used to getting dragged for existing, kindness feels foreign, unbelievable, almost suspicious. But it kept happening. Every time I shared something new, an animated loop, a character design, or even just a sleepy doodle of my cat, there he was. At midnight sketch, this hits different. At midnight sketch, ignore the haters. You've got real talent. At midnight sketch, the shading here is insane. Underrated work, honestly. Eventually, I caved. I clicked into his profile. And a real name. No photos. Just a sketch of a cat curled into a crescent moon. 3 posts, all from years ago. All drawings. All beautiful. I left a comment under one of them. Me. Why don't you post more? You're clearly amazing. I didn't expect a reply. But 3 minutes later. At midnight sketch. Coming from you. That means a lot. I smiled. Like, really smiled. The kind where your cheeks ache a little, and your heart does that fluttery, weightless thing, and from there, it just kind of happened. We started commenting under each other's stuff more regularly. Then came the DMs. Just little things at first. Him, what brush do you use for that texture? Me, honestly. They don't know what I'm doing. Brush, him, are my favorite tool too. We made each other laugh a lot. Soon we were talking every day. Not just about art, but about everything. Our favorite comfort food. Our worst middle school haircuts. The time he tripped in front of his crush holding 3 smoothies, and all through it, he still never told me his name. I knew his sense of humor. I knew his favorite Studio Ghibli film, It's Whisper of the Heart, which says a lot, honestly. I knew he liked thunderstorms, but hated thunder. I knew his voice only through typed words and timing. But still not his name, not his face, and weirdly, I didn't care. Because when the world felt too loud, when my insecurities were boiling over and I didn't feel good enough to post anything, he was always there. Consistent, quiet, supportive, safe. He became the highlight of my day. I started drawing more, laughing more, opening up more. I even stopped checking the hate comments. Because I didn't need their approval. I already had someone who saw me, and isn't that what we all want? To be seen? There's this moment somewhere between friendly DMs and flirty emojis where you realize it's not just a crush anymore. That moment came on a random Tuesday night. I was curled up on my bed, tablet in one hand, phone in the other, doodling while we chatted. We were talking about movies. He mentioned some obscure indie film I had never heard of and immediately sent me the link, followed by, "Add midnight sketch. Watch it when you're feeling lost." It's weird but honest. That's when I asked .me, "Can I call you something other than at midnight sketch?" Feels strange not knowing your name after 3 months of talking. There was a pause. A long one. The typing bubble blinked in and out like it couldn't make up its mind. Then, finally, "At midnight sketch. I kind of like the mystery. Don't you?" I stared at the screen. It felt like a brushstroke gone wrong subtle, but it changed the picture. I wasn't mad, just confused. It wasn't like I was asking for his social security number or address. Just a name. Any name. Even a fake one. Anything that made him feel more real. But I didn't push it. Instead, I replied with me. "Okay. But when I become famous and someone asks who inspired me, I'm putting some anonymous guy who liked mooncats. Just saying." Him? I'd be honored. After that, I couldn't stop wondering. Who was he? Was he shy? Hiding something? Or maybe he just liked the idea of being invisible. A ghost in the comments. A hero in shadows. But then something strange happened. One morning, I posted a time-lapse video of a new piece. It was personal, my first drawing that showed my face reflected in a window. A subtle self-portrait tucked into the art. And he noticed, "At midnight sketch, that reflection. Is that you?" My heart skipped. Not because he noticed, but because it felt like he was searching for me. Maybe. "At midnight sketch. You're more beautiful than I imagined." I reread that sentence until my screen dimmed. He imagined me. He thought about me, what I might look like, sound like, be like in real life. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't the only one falling. He was too, but falling for a stranger is one thing. Falling for someone who hides their identity, that's a risk. A risk I was slowly starting to take. Later that night, I tried something bold. I asked him to call. Just once, not video, just voice. I wanted to hear him. He said yes. And at 11:17 p.m., my phone rang. My heart thumped so loud, I was sure he could hear it through the line. I picked up. "Hello," I whispered. And then I heard it. His voice, soft, warm, like a velvet hoodie on a rainy day. "Hey," he said, and just like that, the screen between us felt thinner than ever. There's a strange kind of intimacy in hearing someone's voice for the first time after months of text. It was like hearing a book character speak aloud after imagining them for so long. Except, better. His voice wasn't deep or overly confident. It was a little hesitant, like he wasn't used to being listened to. And yet, every word felt chosen, like he meant it. We talked for hours that night. About everything. He told me he loved night walks, that he always looked up at the stars but didn't believe in fate. He confessed he had social anxiety, and that art was his escape. That he liked the idea of being needed but feared being seen. I told him about my mom, how she raised me on her own, working double shifts just so I could buy my first drawing tablet. About how I used to draw superheroes as a kid because I didn't feel strong in real life. That night, we didn't just connect. We collided, and still, I didn't know his name. I didn't ask again. I didn't want to scare him away. Some people don't unmask all at once. Some do it layer by layer, gently, like peeling an onion with a trembling hand. But while our online world deepened, my offline world was erupting. I got an email from a company I had been dreaming of working with for years. We've reviewed your portfolio and would love to invite you to our Creative Expo in NYC. You've been selected as a featured guest. I reread it 5 times before screaming. I jumped up, nearly knocked my tablet off the bed, and immediately texted him. Me. Guess who just got invited to her dream event? His reply was instant. At midnight sketch. No way. I'm so proud of you. You deserve this, Lena. Every second of it, Lena. He always typed my name in full. Never shortened it. Never made it casual. Somehow, it made me feel more real. The days flew by as I prepared. I barely slept. I designed new pieces, created prints, planned my exhibit space, and made a mini comic just for the expo. I even bought a blazer. My first adult blazer. It felt stiff and weird, but it made me look like someone who believed in herself. Everything was perfect, until it wasn't. 2 days before the expo, I woke up to chaos. Literally hundreds of hateful comments on my latest post. My inbox flooded. People were accusing me of tracing, of stealing art, of faking my following. Someone had created a fake account pretending to be me and was messaging other artists with rude remarks. Screenshots were being shared out of context. A cancel thread had gone viral, and just like that, everything I had built was burning. I froze. All the strength I'd been faking for months collapsed into a hollow, shaking mess. I sat on my bed, knees pulled to my chest, watching my dream crumble with every new refresh. That's when he called, without a text fast and a warning. Just his name, his username flashing across my screen. I picked up, barely breathing. He didn't say hi. He said, "Don't let them do this to you." His voice wasn't soft this time. It was steady, angry, even. Anyone who's ever seen your work knows it's yours. They can't cancel the truth, Lena. Don't let them make you invisible. I didn't speak. I just cried. And he stayed on the phone the whole time. No pressure. No advice. Just present. And then, after a while, he whispered something I'll never forget. "I know what it's like to be silenced. But you were born to be seen." That's when I realized this wasn't just an online friendship anymore. This was something deeper. And maybe something I wasn't ready to lose. The next day, I almost didn't get out of bed. The world outside felt cruel, cold, like no matter how hard I tried, it would never let me belong. But then, my phone buzzed. No notification. Just a single file. Sent from him. It was a video. The thumbnail was one of my older sketches, one I hadn't posted in months. The quiet one, where I had drawn a girl standing in the middle of a rainstorm, umbrella blown inside out, but still smiling. I hesitated. Then hit play. It began with a soft piano tune. Slow, hopeful. Then came the visuals, my drawings. All of them. From my very first awkward line work to my most recent comic panels. Layered one over another, telling a story, my story, overlaid with soft text animations, written in his voice. This is Lena. She draws light even when the world gives her darkness. She creates softness in a world obsessed with sharpness. She builds warmth, line by line. Her art is not just pixels, it's proof. Proof that even the quietest hearts can leave the loudest marks. Then the screen faded to black and the words appeared. Don't hide now. The world needs your voice. I didn't even realize I was crying until I felt my shirt dampen. My entire chest was tight, but in a good way. Like my heart was stretching, opening, learning how to breathe again. It wasn't just a sweet gesture. It was more than that. He had saved my art, my old posts. He remembered every detail, Every stage of my journey, even the ones I thought no one noticed. I messaged him immediately. Me, you made that? At midnight sketch, it's yours, really. I just reminded you. I couldn't take it anymore. The mystery, the anonymity, the distance, it was suddenly too much. So I asked again. Me, who are you, really? Please, I need to know. There was a pause, longer than before. Then finally, at midnight sketch. Okay, but not here. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., Elira CAF. Back corner booth. My fingers trembled as I read it. That CAF, that was my CAF. The one 3 blocks from my apartment. The one where I sketched between freelance jobs. The one where I always sat in the back with headphones and an iced caramel latte. I blinked. I reread the message. He had been there. He had seen me. My heart thudded against my ribs. Panic and hope tangled together like frayed wires. Had he known all along? And suddenly, a million questions burst inside me. Was he some stranger who had been stalking me? Was this cute story about to turn creepy? Or had I been face to face with him this whole time? I barely slept that night. My mind played a loop of every barista, every regular customer, every person who might have looked at me a second too long or smiled from across the room. And then morning came, and I had to choose: walk away from the mystery or walk into it. I stared at the entrance of Elira's CAF like it might bite me. My palms were sweaty, my heart was on the verge of escape, and I hadn't even walked inside yet. 3 months of digital connection, hundreds of messages, one unforgettable voice, and now one meeting. 3:00 p.m. I was 5 minutes early. I told myself I'd just peek inside and scope the corner booth. Just look, not commit, but curiosity doesn't wait politely at the door. I pushed it open, the bell chiming above me like a drum roll. Familiar smells hit me instantly: fresh ground espresso, cinnamon pastries, and that faint citrus scent they always sprayed on the counters. I scanned the room. The back corner booth was already occupied. He sat there, head slightly bowed over. A sketch pad, same hoodie he always wore, slate gray, worn at the sleeves, fingers stained faintly with pencil graphite. My breath caught. It was Guy, the barista, the quiet one who made my caramel lattes just the way I liked: extra ice, light whip. The one who always had a faint smudge of coffee on his apron and earbuds in when he wasn't on shift. The guy who once told me my sketch of a cat drinking coffee looked like it knew something. Him. He was at midnight sketch. He looked up just as I froze. Our eyes locked. Time stopped. He didn't look surprised, or guilty, or smug. He looked nervous, scared, like he was the one unsure if I'd run or stay. I took a shaky step forward, then another, and then I was standing at his table. Neither of us spoke for a second. Then softly he said, "Hi, Lena." My knees nearly gave out. That voice. It was him. "How long?" I whispered. Kai gently closed the sketchbook and placed it aside. "Since the first time you ordered the caramel latte and stayed to draw. I recognized your art from online. I knew it was you. But why didn't you say anything?" He gave a small, rueful smile. "Because you looked safe in your bubble, and I didn't want to be another guy interrupting it. So I just watched. And when I saw the hate you were getting online, I couldn't stay silent." I sat down slowly, my mind racing through memories. How many times had I sat right here, sketching while he worked? How many times had I unknowingly talked to him in DMs while he was behind the counter? Was he messaging me while I was a few feet away? You lied to me, I said, the words sharper than I meant. I never meant to, he said quickly. I just couldn't figure out how to go from anonymous support to real support. You trusted me online, but I didn't know if you'd trust me in person, or if you'd even notice me. I did notice him. Of course I did. The quiet barista with kind eyes. The one who once added a smiley face to my coffee lid. I just didn't connect the dots. I didn't mean to fall for you, I said, almost involuntarily. His eyes softened. Me neither. But here we are. Silence settled between us again. But it wasn't uncomfortable. It was heavy, thick with months of late-night messages, unspoken words, secret kindnesses, and the kind of truth that doesn't need volume to be heard. He reached for something in his bag. A small sketch pad. He slid it toward me, and I flipped it open. My breath hitched. It was filled with me. Sketches of me in the CAF. Me smiling at my tablet. Me sipping coffee. Me looking out the window, lost in thought. All drawn from different angles, different moods, but all unmistakably me. I was drawing you before I even knew you, he said quietly, and that's when I broke. Tears spilled over, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming, unbearable realness of it all, because somewhere between silence and screens, art and anonymity, he had seen me, truly seen me. And now I was seeing him too. I didn't say anything as I left the CAF. I couldn't. Kai had offered to walk me home. I said no gently, but firmly. He didn't push. I think he knew I needed time, not space. Not silence. Just time to process. My mind was spinning. I kept thinking about that sketchpad full of me. The hidden glances. The quiet admiration. The way he had supported me when no one else did, both behind a screen and only a few feet away. But I also thought about the lie. The way he had let me open up without revealing his truth. Was it deception? Or just fear? It was hard to tell. Back in my apartment, I sat at my desk, staring at my reflection in the black screen of my tablet. For a moment, I saw two versions of me. The online version, bold, witty, flirtatious. The real version, unsure, overwhelmed, a little bruised, and somewhere between the two was the girl who had fallen for a voice without a name. I opened our chat. There were no new messages. I scrolled up, reading old texts. The jokes, the compliments, the little things. I bet your smile looks like summer. One day, the world will frame your art and ask why it took them so long to notice. If I were a line in your drawing, I'd want to be the one near your heart. Had he meant all of that? Was it still real, even if it came from a name I didn't expect? Or had I fallen for a fiction, a fantasy that only existed in my DMs? The next morning, I didn't open my tablet. I didn't check my socials. I didn't check my inbox. I didn't even drink coffee. I just existed. For a few days, I avoided the CAF. I avoided his messages. He only sent a few. Kai, I'm sorry for not telling you sooner. Kai, I didn't mean to hurt you. Kai, I miss talking to you, but I'll wait. And he did. No double messages. No desperate guilt trips. Just quiet patience. Until the day of the expo. The event I almost didn't attend. But when I looked at the lanyard with my name on it, and the carefully packed box of prints, and the little badge that read featured artist, something shifted in me. This was mine. Earned. Created. fought for. No internet trolls, no fear, and no mysterious love story was going to take it away. I walked into that expo alone, and I stood there heart pounding, knees shaking, and told people about my work. They listened. Some even cried. My booth had a line. People asked about the emotions behind my art. One girl said my comic helped her through a breakup. Another showed me a tattoo of my character. I had never felt so seen, and yet, as proud as I was, part of me kept scanning the crowd, half expecting a grey hoodie to appear, a soft voice to say something comforting. But he didn't come. I should felt relieved, but instead, it ached. That night, I got home and opened the sketchpad he had given me again. On the last page, there was something I hadn't noticed before, a drawing of two people sitting across from each other, one sketching, the other staring in wonder. Below it, in small handwriting, sometimes the best love stories start in silence, but only the brave ones survive the truth. I stared at it for a long time. Then I grabbed my phone. Me, can we talk? His reply came instantly. We met on the rooftop of the same CAF where everything changed. Kai texted that it was quiet up there at night, barely anyone knew it existed. I'd walked past that door 100 times and never noticed the staircase. Just like I'd walked past him and never truly seen. The sky above was velvet black, dotted with stars, the kind that barely peeked through the city haze. He was already there, sitting on a wooden bench, looking out over the quiet rooftops. He stood when he saw me. For a long moment, we didn't speak. Then I walked toward him, not with anger, not even with fear, with something softer. I'm still mad, I said quietly. He nodded. I deserve that. I trusted you. I know. I sat down beside him, close but not too close, just enough to hear his breathing, just enough to feel that this wasn't a digital illusion. He was real. The warmth between us was real. You hid behind a username, I whispered. He turned toward me, his voice lower, because that was the only place I wasn't afraid. That hit something inside me. He wasn't lying to manipulate me. He was lying to protect himself. I get it, I said, softer now. But I needed honesty, especially from you. His jaw clenched. I wanted to tell you 1,000 times. But every time I saw you smile at a message, I told myself just one more day. I looked down at my hands. We built something beautiful, I said. But it's cracked now, he nodded. Let me help fix it. The wind picked up slightly, brushing my hair across my face. You can't fix it all with one sweet drawing, I said. I know, he said, and then pulled something from his coat pocket. A USB drive. But maybe with 100. I stared at it. What's this? Everything I've made in the last 3 months. Videos, animations, messages I never sent. It's yours. I don't want anything in return. I just want you to know that even when I was afraid, I meant every word. He handed it to me. I took it, fingers brushing his for just a second. It felt like holding someone's heartbeat. Then my phone buzzed. Hundreds of notifications. I froze. Kai looked over. What's happening? I opened the app. A viral post. A video, my video from the expo. Someone had recorded my speech. In it, I had spoken about being attacked online, being doubted, being torn down but still choosing to create. I had said, when someone tells you you're not good enough, tell them, thank you for the opinion. Now watch me prove you wrong. That clip was spreading, and the comments this time were beautiful. She's incredible. This made me cry. I want to be like her. The internet needs more people like this. I read them in silence. My hands shook. For once, the world wasn't tearing me apart. It was lifting me. Kai watched me, his eyes misty. You did that, he said. I looked at him. No, I replied. We did. He didn't say anything, he just looked at me like I was the sun rising in front of him, and in that moment, I realized he had always seen the light in me even when I couldn't. The next few days felt like living inside a dream, one stitched together with trembling hope and cautious joy. My inbox was full, not with brand offers, not with collab requests, but with letters, real, raw letters from young women, students, aspiring creators, even single moms who wrote, I almost quit, but your words changed my mind. You made me feel seen. Can we be friends? It was the first time I realized that sharing my pain was a gift, not just a confession. And slowly, my fear of the world watching turned into a kind of power. Kai and I didn't rush back into anything. We took space, texted at night, shared playlists again, commented on each other's posts, this time publicly. He even signed his name. It made the internet buzz. Wait, the Kai comics, they were a couple? No way. This is too cute. I saw reactions shift. People started watching our love unfold again, but with curiosity, not cruelty. He drew me again, this time with a caption, "The girl who made me brave enough to speak in color." Then came the interview request, a big digital magazine, the kind of site that used to publish takedowns and expose us. But this time, they wanted my story. In my own words, I hesitated. Are you sure? I asked Kai on the phone that night. I don't want to be picked apart again. His voice was calm. They won't be able to touch you. Not anymore. You're standing too tall. So I said yes. The shoot was in a plant-filled studio downtown. Natural light, exposed beams, one long white couch with throw pillows. I kept shifting because I didn't know where to put my hands, but the interviewer was kind, thoughtful. She didn't ask about drama. She asked about dreams, and halfway through, she asked, "Is there anyone who helped you see your worth again?" I looked into the camera, and I smiled. There is. I paused, then said it clearly. His name is Kai. We started out as strangers, in a comment section. Now, I think he knows me better than anyone. That interview broke the internet again, but this time for the best reasons. We trended for inspiration, not scandal. Art creators started using our story as a prompt. Couples recreated our texts. Fans wrote songs. Some even made animation edits of our story, one where we met in a comic panel and walked off the page together. But the most surprising thing, my parents called me. They'd seen the interview. My dad, who hadn't commented on my work in years, simply said, "I'm proud of you." And I cried harder than I ever did for a hate comment. Then, one evening, Kai messaged me, "Can you meet me where we first met?" I blinked at the text. Which first? The CAF, the expo, the comment section. But I knew. I put on a jacket and headed to the tiny out park near my old college, where I'd filmed that reel on a whim, back when I felt invisible. The one where someone first wrote, "This girl deserves more credit." I got there just as the lights flicked on. Kai was standing near the stone steps. Behind him on the wall was a new mural, bright, bold, drawn with delicate lines and fierce colors. A girl standing strong in a crowd of shadows, her head high, her heart glowing red. Beneath it, "Let the world misjudge you, just don't misjudge yourself." I gasped. He turned. "I got permission," he said. "Took a month to plan, 3 nights to finish, and a whole lot of courage I didn't know I had. I stared at the painting. At him? Why now? I whispered. Because I spent years loving you in silence, he said. But I'm done hiding. I kissed him. Not because I had to, but because it was the only way to say thank you for believing in me when I didn't, and maybe for loving me in every version I've ever been. They say time changes everything. But what they don't say is it changes you too. And when you return, nothing fits the way it once did. The day of the art exhibit came. It was raining. Light, steady, soft. The kind of rain that always reminded me of coming home. The building was old but beautiful, like memories that have weathered but never faded. I stood at the edge of the gallery, staring at the entrance, heart racing, mind trembling. Then I saw her, Lyra. She stood by one of her pieces, dressed in a simple white dress, with a silver pendant I once gave her glinting under the lights. She was surrounded by people, laughing softly, eyes lighting up at compliments. She had bloomed, and just as I took a step closer, a hand wrapped around her waist. Him, Ezra, the doctor who saved her, the man who stayed when I couldn't, the one who saw her pain up close and helped her paint through it. She leaned into him gently, naturally, in a way that made my lungs tighten. Her body spoke a language of comfort and familiarity. She didn't see me, and I didn't speak. I stepped back into the shadows, heart pounding. It wasn't jealousy, it was a bone-deep ache. The ache of being erased, not by cruelty, but by time. I left the gallery without saying a word. That night, I sat on the balcony of my apartment, staring at the city I no longer belonged to. I knew I had to leave again, not because I wasn't strong enough to fight, but because the war was already over. She had chosen peace, and I was the past. A week later, I received a letter. It was from Lyra. I saw you. I didn't look at you, but I saw you. I felt your presence like I always did. You don't have to hide anymore. I'm not angry. I just need you to know. You were my world once, my muse. But time gave me a new canvas. Thank you for being the man who taught me how to feel and the one who unknowingly taught me how to heal. And that was it. An grand reunion. No final kiss. Just closure, soft and painful. Years passed. I traveled again, but differently this time. I painted. I wrote. I taught. I breathed. Lyra got married. I saw it on a gallery post. Her art flourished, and so did she. I never loved anyone quite the same again, but I did love again. Because even if love ends, the capacity for it never does, and sometimes the greatest form of love is letting go without bitterness, remembering with gentleness, and carrying only what keeps you soft. Outro. So, if you're listening and you're holding on to something or someone, ask yourself not, do they love me now, but am I still trying to fit into a story that's already been written? Because some stories don't need a perfect ending, they just need to be lived. And then let go, and maybe that's where the real beauty lies. In knowing that love was real, even if it wasn't forever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful love stories.